Hello, welcome back to the Villa View. It's time for a match preview for our game against Preston with a little bit of a review from Fulham as well.
So then Dan, we'll start with Fulham. Fortunately I was working on the day, so I pretty much saw nothing except a little clip of Sam Johnson's there, which I'm sure we'll come on to. So talk me through the game. What was it like? What was the day like first of all? Did you enjoy it?
Oh yeah, I really enjoyed it, except for the result obviously. My memory's a little hazy. Obviously it wasn't Villa's best display, but I think that's to be expected when you see the people that are missing. I mean, I put a tweet out earlier saying when you take out Codger, Grealish, Green and Adoma, you take them out this Villa squad, that is your four probably main carriers of the ball, the ones with a bit of pace that can dribble and are athletic. So those kind of players missing will make a difference to the type of football that you play. I didn't think the setup was great. If I'm being honest, it wouldn't have been the team I would have picked, although I can see why you did what you did. But having Snodgrass on the left in the first half, that hinders him. So you're then pulling someone else out of position in Snodgrass when you've already got two of your other attacking threats missing. To me, that doesn't make sense. You're shifting too many people around, but I get why you did it. People aren't keen on him, but I think we probably needed someone like Onoma in the middle of the park to be that option, to be that one who can carry the ball, and he's the closest thing to Jack we probably have, I would say. And Grealish has been such a big part in what we've done over the last 7 games. But we had moments in the first half. Hogan had a chance in the second half, but I didn't think Fulham were great either, but they did enough to win. They took their chance with Sessegnon, and Johnson's obviously made a huge error for the second.
I saw a little bit of stick for Bjarnason on Twitter. Is that fair criticism of Bjarnason? People were saying that he gave the ball away pretty much any time he had it.
I mean, from being at the game, it didn't feel to me he gave the ball away any more than anyone else was. Outfield-wise, it was only really Twanzebe that stood out. For me, he had a good game at right back. At the time of filming, we don't know whether Elmo's going to be back because he went off at half-time injured. So the injuries are starting to build up again, just as we started to get people back. But he should keep his place because I thought he was very good at right back. But then there's maybe a chance for him to come into midfield. I just don't know. But that balance of that team against Fulham wasn't right, and I'd be upset if I saw the same team starting again, even with injuries.
So what more can we do with that team now? How do we change it up going into the rest of the season if some of those injuries do end up being not long term as such as like the Codgers that we've seen, but if they're out for 4 or 5 games, that's a big chunk of games at this stage of the season to be without some of your best players. So what more can we do? Well,
it looks like Adoma's going to be out for a month, so that's your top scorer done for a month, which isn't great news. And as I said, you've already got last season's top scorer in Codger out as well. I don't think Grealish is going to make tomorrow night's game. So the formation we've been playing, the 4-1-4-1, has been working. So for me, if I'm the manager, which obviously I'm not, Onoma comes in for Grealish because he's the most natural fit. And I think you probably just play Bjarnason on the left, although I've got a feeling he may play Graben there, give him his first starts. There is options, but it's square pegs in round holes time again. You're having to play people out of position, which always makes you less fluid. That's natural that you're going to be less fluid when people are playing out of position. I just don't want us to revert back to being that defensive team that we sometimes were, looking to nick a 1-0. And this game against Preston will be tough because they're a good team. They're on form. I mean, I think we caught them at a good time earlier on at Deepdale in the season when we won 2-0 because they had injuries. So in a way, they're probably catching us at a good time now because we've got key personnel missing. But I just want to see us playing on the front foot still. I think we went to Fulham not to lose, which I can understand in a game like that. But if we set up like that at Villa Park, the locals won't like it.
Do you think there's any chance of Onoma being played on the left and somebody like Lansbury coming in to the centre?
I don't think he trusts Lansbury fitness-wise, is the impression I get. That he can't get a run of games together. Every time he comes back, he gets injured again, and to throw him in from the start when he hasn't... couldn't even tell you the last time he started a game, but it would have been a long time ago, Lansbury.
Oh no.
Like, having him in there, I think, is too much of... Bruce will see it as being too much of a risk. He could well play on him a left, but again, it's shoehorning people, and I don't think he's comfortable there, and he's not looked good when he's played there in the cameo roles, coming on as a sub. So it's tough because, as I say, you've got 4 massive players missing, and all of those 4 players can play left wing as well. So there is a severe left wing shortage. I've seen a few people say about bringing Gabby back in, but again, I don't think you'll see the best of him on the left, and he hasn't played for months. So that's the problem now. the personnel you're going to be bringing in won't have played, because that team's been relatively settled over the last 8 games.
I've seen a little bit of talk of people suggesting that we go 4-4-2 with Graben and Hogan up front, but that still doesn't eradicate the problem of having no natural left midfielder. So it's a bit of a headache for Bruce, this one.
Yeah, and he's got to get it right, because I don't think he did get the team selection right on Saturday. I mean, I'm not having a pop at him at all, because obviously we've won 7 in a row prior to that, so it's not like I think he doesn't know what he's doing, because I far from believe that. But I just don't want us to go defensive, revert to type. Again, it's all well and good grinding out results when you can and when you need to, but I think this is a game we need to play on the front foot.
Were there any performances or any particular parts of the Fulham game that worried you going into the rest of the season? Is there anything that stands out as being I'm not sure about a certain player or things like that?
I mean, I didn't think Elmo had a great game on the right. I think he kind of looked like he almost forgot where he was playing at times, because he was so deep. It was almost as if he thought he was playing right back still. But then I don't know whether he was carrying a knock. Obviously, he's gone off at half time. There was a bit of a lack of creativity without Jack. That would be a worry. We didn't really make any chances. Snodgrass wasn't really in the game. Connor wasn't really in the game. It wasn't a good team performance. In all honesty, you need to have. You can afford at times to carry a few in games, but we were carrying too many. We didn't play well, and maybe that is just because they've become so used to playing with that system with those players the last 7 games prior to that it didn't work when those players weren't there. I don't know, but I've not seen anything that would worry me long term, because Fulham are a good side and we could have gone there with our best team and lost to Fulham, because they are a good outfit in there. They're going to make a push up and probably challenge for autos now. I would say they've come into form at a good time. They're formidable at home, like we are, and that's the thing. We've got to make sure we win this home game, and we go to Sheffield Wednesday and win now. If we do, then you can kind of write off the Fulham game as a real bad day. But we need to go there. We need to go into the next 2 games and get something. But without your best players, that's hard. So
talk to me a little bit about Sam Johnson and that error, that free kick. Was it? I think he was taken from the right back area and he's just given it straight to the Fulham player and he's banged it in from the halfway line pretty much. It's just, you can't really throw too much stick at Johnson, can you, from the way he's played this season? But it's one of those that, was it at 1-0 or was it 0-0?
Yeah, it's at 1-0.
So at 1-0 there's a chance you can get back into the game, and then you do something like that and it just kills you, doesn't it, against a team that, like you say, are doing very well in this league.
I've got to be honest though, if he's going to make a mistake like that, I'd rather it be in a game we weren't going to win anyway. Everyone will say that 1-0 down we were still in it, but we weren't making anything happen. Okay. I didn't see us getting back into that game at the time, if I'm being honest. So he's chucked one in a game where I think essentially it's ended up being meaningless. Yeah. Meaningless for us. But he's been our player of the season. For me, he's been our best player, and I gave him a lot of criticism last season when we signed him. I was against the deal, but this season I think he's been the best keeper in the league, and I think he is the best keeper in the league. I mean, I'm going to dig my mate out here, Aston, who I was sat with. He started to reel off 5 or 6 keepers who he reckoned were better than Johnston, but he absolutely lost the plot there. I'm sure John Ruddy was on the list, and John Ruddy is not better than Sam Johnston. There was a few people he reeled off. For me, we've got the best keeper in the league, and that tells by the stats. The amount of clean sheets that guy's kept since he joined Villa is actually phenomenal. I don't know the numbers off the top of my head, but if you could put it up on the screen now, that would be nice. So the amount of clean sheets he's kept has been unreal, and anyone giving him stick after one mistake needs to sort themselves out, because he has been, to me, he's been our player of the season, and I can only presume now he's forgiven me for the stick last season, because he did actually like one of my tweets after the game. So I think all is good with me and Sam now, finally.
Preston unbeaten in 6 now. It's going to be a tricky game at Villa Park. I think they're just 3 points outside the playoffs, so another tough test for us straight after Fulham away. Yeah,
but we are at home. Bar that Sheffield Wednesday blip, and obviously it was a blip because it's only happened once losing at home. We are pretty good at home. One thing I did like the other day at Fulham was that at the end of the game, usually when we lose, there'd have been boos, but there was nothing like that at all, because the fans realised that the players have been on a great run, and that it was just one of them days, and the players appreciated that. You could tell the players and the staff appreciated the support. We gave great support in the Birmingham game, obviously. Last game, we're going to need that same kind of togetherness for this game, because once you lose, there is always a danger that you lose again, and then you suddenly, you're at panic stations, you're thinking, oh God, we're going to go on a bad run, when's the next run coming, when's the next win coming from? So it's important that we do bounce back immediately. And other than December, in general, when we have lost games, we've bounced back and gone on a good run. So it's important we do that again. But it will be a tough test because they've got the tails up at the moment. They've lost their top scorer in Hugill going to West Ham. But sometimes when you lose a player like that, it does galvanise you, and it kind of brings the squad together. And maybe that's what's happened with Preston. They've still got Callum Robinson, who I think's a good player. He's a player I'd have in our squad for sure. Paul Lambert ruined his Villa career, and handily he can play left hand side, which would have been helpful for us. There's everyone else that can play theirs in the treatment room. But we'll have to be at our best. But you have to be at your best most weeks in the Championship. There's no easy games, and this one definitely isn't an easy game.
Yeah, that's the thing about the Championship, isn't it? That the games do come thick and fast, and it's a chance to bounce back after a defeat. The one thing is, like you say, you look at it and you think if it does go wrong on Tuesday against Preston and you lose that as well, you then people will start to worry, and it's inevitable, people will be getting on the manager and the players' backs even after the run we've had. So it's really important to get back to winning ways as soon as possible, get the win against Preston if we can, and then start another run. The
nature of Villa in the Championship is that if you go a couple of games without a win, even if we could pick up a point on Tuesday, if you go a couple of games without a win, it is deemed unacceptable by the fans, and that's because we've got high standards. But I just don't want any meltdowns. Again, we don't need that now. We're coming towards the business end of the season. We need the cohesion and the togetherness, and I think, as I say, you could tell the players genuinely appreciated after the Fulham match, because they knew they hadn't played well. It was written over most of their faces that they hadn't played well, and I think they kind of traipsed over expecting the worst. But when they didn't get that, I think it boosted them. So that kind of thing is important. I don't think you can overlook how important the fans are, and we could do with a few extra thousand down there, like Adam Wright said.
Come back next week, because this is a football club now we can be very, very proud of.
I don't think we'll get it, but the amount of support we can give, and if we stay with them, I think we'll get over the line this season and finish second. I really do. So it's really, really important. So the games coming thick and fast can be good, but it can also be bad if you've suddenly not won twice in the space of 4 days.
That run of 7 wins in a row was going to come to an end at some point. Yeah. We've got the one out of the way against a team that, if it was that we'd lost to Burton at home, no disrespect to them, you would be thinking, what a wasted opportunity. But to lose at Fulham away, one of the goals is a freak goal anyway, and then you sort of think, well, that's almost to be expected. Move on, get back to winning ways as soon as you can. We were always going to lose at some point, but with 15 games left or whatever it is now, to get second, how many more losses do you think we can afford to have now?
I'm not sure. That's a good question. Thanks for throwing that at me without telling me you were going to 2 max.
You think?
Probably.
See, when you look at it like that, if we can only afford to lose 2 in the next 15. That means we're going to have to go on another good 2 runs.
Maybe I'm being a tad adventurous there. Maybe 2's a bit, I don't know what the word is, hasty to say that, but we obviously can't afford to lose too many, because you won't finish second if you do that. I'd have to look at what the positions were last year, how many losses the team in second got last year, but the other teams have got a tougher. I mean, Fulham, to be fair, I know Fulham have got a tough run of games coming up. Yeah. I spoke to a Fulham fan today, and she said they've got a real tough run of fixtures coming up. I mean, to be honest, the moment I set foot in Craven Cottage, we're not going to win, because I've been there 5 times, and the best I've seen is a 0-0 under Alex McLeish. So the moment I entered the fray, it was probably over, let's face it.
The fact that you just said the best you ever saw was a 0-0 under McLeish tells you everything you need to know about that little stat.
And that was the first game I ever took my wife to, and I've got to say it was the worst advert for football that there's ever been. But that's still the best game I've seen at Craven Cottage.
I'm going to go with a 2-0 Villa. I think we'll bounce back, get another clean sheet, which will help our confidence as well. A first goal scorer, I'll go with Hogan. Hogan to get both, actually. Why not?
Nice. I'm going to go KG 1-0 to Villa. James Chester from a set piece. That's my prediction. I think it's going to be quite tight, this one. I don't see us coming out and being expansive, even though I hope that we do. So that's it for today's video. If you have enjoyed the content, then make sure you're giving it a big thumbs up and comment below with your predictions. And if you are in our Fan Score League, make sure you get all your stuff done on there as well. If you're not already subscribed to the channel with your post notifications on, if you could do that, that would be absolutely fantastic. The podcast will be recorded on Thursday night. Tom, Julian and I will be in the booth, so that will be technically a review of the Preston game, and hopefully we'll be talking about Villa bouncing back and getting the 3 points against Preston on Tuesday. Max will be doing fan cams after the game, as I've got to shoot back to London pretty quickly, big day at work the next day, so apologies for that, but you have to make do with Max, but he's a good guy sometimes. Thanks ever so much for your support. Stick with the channel, stick with the Villa of the Villa. If you enjoyed that video, why not watch another? Click the video choices on screen now to go and watch them in full. Be sure to subscribe to the channel by clicking our logo there on the left. Easy peasy.